Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
All right, that was Drake SZA. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. All right, let's start off with sports. Now, last night, the Ravens beat the Bengals, the Colts beat the Texans, the Seahawks beat the Lions, Buccaneers beat the Bears, the Chiefs beat the Jaguars, the Bills beat the Raiders, the Falcons beat the Packers, Titans beat the Chargers, 49ers beat the Rams, the Cowboys beat the Jets. My Giants are on a winning streak. It might be only one game, but we on a winning streak. They beat the Cardinals last night, 31-28. They came back. They were down 20-0 by the half. I thought it was a wrap. I ain't even going to front. Commanders beat the Broncos, and the Dolphins beat the Patriots. And also, we got a salute to primetime Deion Sanders' team.
Yeah.
Colorado Buffaloes beat the Colorado State Rams 43-35. Congratulations. They're on a 3-game winning streak. Salute to them. Morning, Tez.
Good morning, DJ Envy. I was just going to say, you're not going to talk about prime time?
Of course.
I was out watching it, and, he said a couple of weeks ago that he thanks the hood for having his back.
Yes.
And you go watch it, on the sports bar, Black Sports Bar, I'm telling you, it's just all the way turned up. It's an event.
Yeah, it was a late game this week, but yeah, it was. Yeah. I love to see everybody going out there and support him. I seen Master P at the game, Lil Wayne. I seen Offset. I seen Key Glock, and a bunch of people going out there to support him. So it's pretty dope. Mm-hmm. Let's jump right into it. Now, let's talk about this huge strike against these big three automakers.
Yeah, we were waiting on this on Friday at midnight. The United Auto Workers historic strike started. It's been going on now for about 4 days. Let's take a listen to the report, and I want to give you some more information on the other side.
United Auto Workers walked off the job at 3 plants belonging to the nation's big 3 automakers.
We mean business, It's time to make a higher wage.
No deal, no will! Facilities in Missouri, Ohio, and Michigan, the first targets of the UAW strike, beginning 1 minute after their labor contract expired with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis.
It's about getting their share and our share of economic justice.
Yeah, so what are they asking for in these negotiations? What is the biggest concern?
Yeah, and, like so many others strikes that we've seen this year, it always, comes down main one to pay. So they're asking for a 40% increase in pay, 4-day work week, pension for hourly employees. And right now, DJ Envy, they're only earning about $500 for strike pay. So when folks are on strike, it's not like they get their regular pay. So they're willing to, basically lose pay in order to take this stand. So big deal, particularly in Detroit. For those who are in Detroit, call in during Get It Off Your Chest, because I really want to see how this is impacting Detroit and the economy there. But when we talk about how it's affecting the economy, they stated it's not likely to push the nation into a recession, at least, where it is now. But the ultimate impact will depend on how long the strike lasts. It depends on how many companies lay off workers, how long they stay off their job, how long it's going to take to negotiate a deal. But to give you an example, right now, if they strike for 10 days, it would cost the economy $5 billion. Yeah. And that's only with about 12,000 people striking, DJ Envy. There are over 146,000 employees that could strike. So this could certainly be a major impact. But the UAW president, who you just heard, he said that they're not going to wreck the economy. He said this is about wrecking the billionaire economy. But economists disagree. They said that this will definitely, depending on how long it'll last, it could definitely make a difference.
Yeah, I think it's very scary. I think when you have people striking, when this economy is already in bad shape, people are already living check to check. The prices of gasoline is going up. The prices of food is going up. How could these people survive if they're taking, if they're striking, if they're taking days off, if they're not getting paid? How can they, pay for, tuition and health care and making sure that their babies and babysitter? And then not only that, a lot of people, they're not going to be able to make cars. So how does that affect these car manufacturers as well? Because people they're not going to wait for Ford. They're not going to wait for GM. They're going to buy some of these foreign cars, whether it's a Honda, whether it's a Toyota, whether it's, somebody in competition with Ford, GM, and those other brands. So I just wonder how this helps the economy, and it's definitely going to hurt.
Yeah, and you also bring up an interesting point, because when we talk about the strike with the actors in Hollywood, this also creates an opportunity for AI to get more involved,
right?
And start replacing folks. And so when you're taking that chance to say, hey, do we, take a strike because we're willing to push the line, but also, knowing that you could be risking the position in itself. But I am in support of the strike. I am in support of the auto workers and any, American that feels, they need more from their work. I just want to give just a couple of just FYIs as I was digging into the story about the strikes. And I'm glad you brought up medical. I'm going to talk about some medical debt in the second hour. But right now, and Dr. Cornell West brought this up, Envy, when we had him on the air, saying if everything's going so well, why are there so many strikes? So for right now, we've had just this year long, Hollywood, writers, nurses, factory workers, Starbucks, thousands of workers have went on strike and even threatened to go on strike by UPS. I think it was a 340,000 employees said they were going to go on strike. So far this year, there's been nearly 460,000 workers that have walked off the job at some point just this year alone. And it's been the highest since 2018. So wow. A lot is happening, and we can keep pretending like all is well, but all is not well. If we're having this many strikes, I think it said over 270 strikes or something like that just in this year alone.
Wow. All right. Well, that is front page news. Now, get it off your chest. Tez, we'll see you in a couple minutes. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. Maybe your coworker's a little late. Maybe your favorite football team didn't win over the weekend. Whatever it may be. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Let's start off with sports. Now, last night, hopefully your NFL team won. My team is on a winning streak. The Giants beat the Cardinals 31-28. Cowboys beat the Jets 30-10. 49ers beat the Rams 30-23. The Titans beat the Chargers. Bills beat the Raiders. Falcons beat the Packers. Chiefs beat the Jaguars. Buccaneers beat the Bears. Colts beat the Texans. Seahawks beat the Lions. The Ravens beat the Bengals. Commanders beat the Broncos.
And I hope y'all know that on Sunday, February 11th, 2024, the Dallas Cowboys will be playing in that game. Okay?
What game?
I don't know who we're going to be playing, but on Sunday, February 11th, 2024, the Dallas Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl.
Y'all ain't playing in that game.
Hey, yeah, y'all don't have eyes. Now I know every year.
Goodness.
I know every year.
You say this every year.
Yes, but if you're not paying attention, if you don't realize how elite our defense is. When Michael Parsons says that we got the best defense in the league, and that they're not going to allow nobody more than 10 points against them, I believe him because that defense is elite.
Oh my goodness!
Elite.
I've heard this every year.
No, you don't. Because
Yes,
you don't see defenses like this, but every so often. This is one of those elite defenses. People know what I'm talking about when you think about those old Baltimore Ravens squads, them old New York Giants defenses, them Chicago Bears 85 defenses. This one of them.
All right, you guys are not going anywhere February 11th, but we got to congratulate the Colorado Buffaloes, Dion Primetime. They beat the Colorado State Rams 43-35. They were on a 3-game winning streak. So
I am a proud bandwagoner of the Colorado Buffaloes.
I ain't mad at you, me too.
Okay, proud bandwagoner. And all you Negroes, don't think that we forgot how y'all was slandering Dion when Dion left Jackson State. Like a lot of y'all out there celebrating, got your pom-poms out now, but y'all sure had a lot to say when he left Jackson State.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get right into it. What up, Tez?
What's going on? Did you say your team was on a winning streak?
Yes, 1-game winning streak. That's what I said.
Because winning streak mean like back to back though, right?
1-game winning streak. 1 game. If he's buying his tickets for the Super Bowl already, my team could be on a winning streak.
I'm buying my tickets because my daddy told me to buy them, and because I got eyes. This defense different. Dallas Cowboys defense different.
And we got
to look up the definition of winning streak because winning streak means back to back, not just one win.
1-game winning streak. We all right. Now let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this Georgia church and what they did.
Yeah, stand on it, DJ Envy. I ain't mad at you at all. Some folks in Georgia are on a winning streak. I really like this story. This should be, I know you do Donkey of the Day, but this should really be Hero of the Day. Georgia church wipes out $2.6 million in medical debt for residents. You don't hear that a lot. Let's listen to the story, and I'm going to give you some more information on the other side.
The church recently donated $15,000 to a group called RIP Medical Debt. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 19% of American households carry some medical debt, with the median amount owed at $2,000. Daniel Lampert with RIP Medical Debt explains how they can erase the debt with donations like cross churches.
So you can buy medical debts for pennies on the dollars if you are a debt buyer in this country. And if you instead take a nonprofit mindset and you use donor dollars, you can actually buy medical debts.
So they're able to stretch donor dollars to pay for a lot of debt. And in this case,
we were able to stretch that $15K to a very impressive $2.6 million in face value medical debt.
$2.6 million worth of debt now erased for around 2,500 people in Forsyth and Fulton counties.
We wanted to do something that impacts people personally.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, that's what people would love to see the churches doing more of.
More churches do. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely. I shout out to Pastor Cornelius Fisher. That's who you heard at the end with Cross Church. And this is very impressive. We hear a lot, negative churches don't do enough. A lot of churches do a lot, but we don't hear about it. But I just thought this story was really, really, really important. So shout out to them for using, again, this is what churches do. This is why they have the nonprofit status, to be able to take care, to be able to, get around those type of loopholes that can actually help people instead of just pocketing the money or keeping the building fund growing forever. Want to unpack just some facts right quick on medical debt. DJ Envy, I know you talked about it in the first hour when you were talking about folks not being able to pay for healthcare, while they're on strike. So I wanted to give you some facts. Middle income Americans who earn $50,000 to $100,000 or more a year currently do not qualify for Medicaid or charity. So they are in the most debt. An estimated 23.5% of those folks have unpaid medical bills. 22% of those are lower income. And then I want to give you some numbers breaking it down by race. 37% of Black middle class folks have medical debt. 25% of Hispanic folks have medical debt. And 20% of white people have medical debt. So everybody's in medical debt across the board, regardless of race, obviously. Some have more, which would be Black Americans. But this is a real issue. So shout out to that church, for really, utilizing their nonprofit status to actually help some folks.
And how much tithes and offerings they doing? Like, who are the members of this church? Because they getting money. Clearly.
They get some money.
Well, it was only $15,000. They only spent $15,000, but because they had the nonprofit status, like the report was saying, it pretty much tripled, the amount because of nonprofit paid for it. That was just what was so interesting about this story. When you actually use your nonprofit status, there's a loophole. I'm using the term lightly, but they were allowed to triple that status. So they didn't come out of pocket for the $2.6 million. They only spent $15,000.
Wow.
So
Well,
talk about a flip. That's a major flip.
Then all these churches should do that. If they only got to spend $15,000 and can wipe out $2.6 in medical debt, all these churches should do that.
Yeah, because they were able to negotiate it. So because it was a nonprofit status, if somebody's saying they owe $100,000 in debt, because they use that status, they were able to, reduce that.
Gotcha.
Versus if I'm trying to pay my medical debt, I have to pay it down to the dollar, or, maybe they'll give me a break or not. And that, again, why I really wanted to highlight this story on how they utilize that nonprofit status.
I wonder if that works for student loans and stuff like that.
Well, it'd be great if they work for student loan, but student loan, most of those, the government and a lot of them are private. And because of the way it's set up, it's not set up, to help folks get out of debt, which is why they keep pushing to end student loan debt.
Wow.
So, but that'd be great. That's a great point, Charlamagne. Can the nonprofits, can they get involved? Can it be a way, a way that maybe they can create some legislation to make that happen?
All right. Well, that is Front Page News. Thank you, Tiz.
Uh-huh.
And make sure you subscribe to Tesla and Figaro's podcast, The Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, and follow at Tesla and Figaro on all social media platforms.
All right. Now, when we come back, Toya and Reginae will be joining us. They got a new reality show on WeTV, and we're going to talk to them when we come back. So don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.